Hello everyone, it's FCA. This is going to continue my alcohol series because I want people to understand that I'm not trying to encourage underage people to drink, but I'm trying to show people that there's no bad things that alcohol can have. It's when you get drunk and plastered and don't respect how much you're drinking and don't monitor your intake and stuff like that, that's where you get into trouble. But wine and other alcohols, they're not bad. In fact, they can be very healthy for you when taken in a moderate amount of time. And people say, well, if you let people drink too young and blah, 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 there's politics. Talk about that in another video. But recently, I ordered this. This is a 12-piece wine set from Libby. Very popular brand on Amazon. It's a very good brand. And this is what the glass looks like outside of the box. So as you can see, it's wide at the bottom, it's stemmed, and it tapers up at the top. Now, this is important because this will hold most of the wine, and this helps also, you hold the glass down here. I will link below the other parts of this series and how I say you shouldn't hold it like this. People think, oh, well, that's the fancy way to hold it. No, that's the wrong way to hold it. Yes, there is a wrong way to hold a glass of wine, because if you hold it like this or like this, you're warming the wine, especially if you hold that for a significant amount of time, which does affect the flavor. And for me, being somebody who enjoys wine very much, I would hate to have my peak flavors be dissipated due to a warming effect from my hand. This also allows to be able to see, because if you hold a glass like this or like this, you can't, or like this, you can't see all the way through to see clarity and brightness, which you can see clarity by how clear can you see through it. You can know the intensity of a wine, how alcoholic it actually is, based on how intense the hue or the color is of the wine. Brightness is if you take against a white surface, a white napkin or tablecloth, and put it through the light, you should be able to have little almost prism-like effects of light shining through, and the brighter and lighter and easier it is, and the bigger the glare is, the brighter the wine is said to be. This is also ideal for swirling. Swirling is good for 3 reasons. One, it helps you see legs. Now, I don't have quite enough in here to do this, but when the water starts to go around, the remaining bits, if you have a wine that is more watery and less oily, for instance, Merlot is a bit more watery, it would look more like water droplets. And those little droplets around are called legs. The more legs, like the more there are right in a row, and the longer they are, the thicker they are, the more alcoholic your drink is, and probably the more oil-based it is, which will affect its clarity and aroma, and of course, the taste. Now, the tapering is important because that helps to, when you get into the bouquet and you want to smell, you know, if it's fruity smelling, if it's floral smelling, if it's pungent, if it's acidic, all those kinds of things. And so that's what the stem is for, and also it doesn't warm your drink while you're holding it. Now, that is a wine glass. Now, this is an example of a champagne flute. Now, as you can see, it has a stem, but it's much more stout and a lot more thick than the wine glass. It's also a lot longer and extremely narrow. That is because champagne is meant to be drunk like a shot. Fine wine is meant to be enjoyed and slowly, you know, you have to swirl it in your mouth, get it all around the taste buds, really let it set in there so you can get all of the flavors and notes of the wine. Don't do that with champagne. Champagne is very pungent, it's very bitter, unless you keep the carbonation. Now, people think that they are given the illusion of sweetness because carbonation, the little bubbling sensation, protects the tongue from the actual true flavors of champagne. Now, true champagne only comes from Champagne, France. The rest of it is sparkling wine. But any way you have it, it's a bubbling carbonation effect that gives an illusion of sweetness. So what you want to do is you would fill it up, the thing would bubble, and you would just take a good shot. And you want to swallow it. You don't want to let it sit in your mouth, because then champagne tastes awful. Very few people, actually I don't know of any people who let champagne just sit in their mouth, because it's not meant to be. It is meant to be just drunk. Because that's what gives the illusion of sweetness, and it's also for celebration purposes. More than wine, which is more of a pairing with anything. Now champagne goes with anything, go to say that. Any meal you have, just say, let's have a glass of champagne, goes with every meal. But wine you can pair up based on other things. Eventually. Now, there are other things to drink in the world besides wines and champagne. And you make them with this. This is a cocktail shaker, and this is a 3-piece cocktail shaker. It's stainless steel, which keeps your drinks colder. Most drinks, not all of them, but most drinks require that you fill this halfway with crushed ice, and then you put this on top, and it helps drain and strain the drink when it comes out to really help mix it, and you pour the drinks in, not through this thing. This is for the pouring and shaking purposes. Oh, it's stuck. Okay, there we go. They also come with this. This is a shooter. That's not the name for it. I will put the proper name over here. I forget what it is. But this is an ounce. So most drinks say, oh, you need half an ounce of vermouth, or you need half an ounce of bitters or something like that. This is an ounce, so you would just fill this up, drop your drink in. That way you have an exact amount of everything. For half an ounce, you fill it halfway. Pretty typical. Then when you have your drink in there, you put it all on top and you shake it up. Most drinks will, you don't have to shake them for a super long time, but you do want to make sure that you shake it up properly. Once you get that, you pull the top, not that whole part. You'll get drink everywhere. You pop the top part off, and then you would pour your drink into something like this. This is a cocktail glass. This is what it's also called a martini glass. So of course, martinis would go into this. But this is just a classic cocktail thing. You would also put things like margaritas in here. Most cocktails, grasshoppers, things like that, would go into a glass like this. It's very aesthetically pleasing. You can see through it to see colors. And the rim is perfect for putting things like salt for margaritas and for putting decoration on there, such as umbrellas and fruits and things like that. So that is a martini glass. Then another type of glass, this is specifically a sherry glass. And also just some design for aesthetically pleasingness. Sherry is kind of a bittersweet, if you were to say it off the top of my head. And you know, you're meant to just serve it up to where the design ends, to give, because if it's full all the way, just like anything else, it's gonna fall over, and that's not fun. But you just, and you can, it's not recommended, you can take sherry in one shot, or you can take 2 to 3 sips. Now you don't have to do this finger thing. I've been doing it since I was little. And then, if you're not a cocktail person, if you're not drinking from a bottle, and you're not a wine or champagne kind of person, there is another thing available for you, and that is, of course, the beer. Now, I don't like beer. I just don't. There is a preservative, which is the main part of beer, and I know the name of it because I had to learn all this stuff. It comes from a tree. It's, huh? No, it's some, I don't know, some plant. I'll put it up here. I know what it is. It's like on the tip of my tongue and it's not coming out. But I don't like how it tastes. But beer is often golden yellow or brown mahogany in color. It's meant to be served cold, and if you leave it out too long, it will explode. That's a fun drink, isn't it? So you would fill this up to where this line is. That's a serving of beer, which is the equivalent to 5 ounces of wine, or a shot of 100 proof alcohol or something like that. And to top it off, you would just let foam sit on the top. People also call it putting a head on it. All that does is give you a funny looking mustache, just so you know. So beer. Now the other thing that I don't have right next to me. Why does this do this? Then there are, of course, shot glasses. This is 1 shot. You can also use these for measuring. This is 1 ounce. You can also use these for measuring drinks, but most cocktail shakers will come with this. As you can see, they're about the same. This one's a little bit wider, while this one's a bit taller, but they're essentially the same size. The other one is like this. Some shot glasses look like this, but they're all about the same amount of alcohol that you put in them. And of course, these are meant to just be shot. One quick thing, and with most of the things that are straight shots, you want to do it quick. So I just want to show you the different types of glasses. So just to go over that one more time: shot glass, sherry glass, cocktail, beer mug, champagne flute, and wine glass. And this is your cocktail shaker. So I hope you have a good time at your next party, and I'll talk to you all later. Bye!